Once upon a time there was a little boy called Silly Billy. Billy had decided, quite firmly, that he was destined to be a knight. Not the sort who sat in dusty castles waiting for dragons, but the sort who marched boldly into the kitchen declaring, "I shall defend the realm," while brandishing a banana he'd found in the fruit bowl. His mum, stirring porridge, raised an eyebrow. A knight with a banana? That's it appealing. Billy grinned, not catching the pun, but Sulky the cat flicked his tail in disdain, unimpressed by fruit-based weaponry. Dad wandered in, tea towel over his shoulder, and chuckled. Well, at least it's potassium-powered. Strong knights need strong swords. Billy puffed out his chest, ignoring the fact that his sword was already starting to bend. He marched around the kitchen, socks mismatched, shoes scuffed, declaring that the kingdom, otherwise known as the living room, was under his protection. Gran arrived with a tray of scones, remarking that knights usually had armor, not jam stains. Billy insisted his dungarees were battle-ready, though the straps kept slipping. Grandad, peering over his glasses, muttered something about banana republics and chuckled at his own joke. Billy didn't understand, but he liked the sound of it. The family watched as Billy attempted to knight Sulky, who hissed and swiped, proving that cats do not take kindly to fruit-based honors. Every knight needs a challenge, Billy declared, rubbing his scratched hand. Dad whispered to Mum, well, at least he's not trying to peel the cat. Mum sighed, half amused, half exasperated, but mostly proud of Billy's imagination. The kitchen became Billy's great hall, the banana his Excalibur, and the porridge pot his cauldron of destiny. Adults smirked at the double meanings, knightly nonsense indeed, while Billy remained blissfully serious. Billy's kingdom expanded into the garden, where knights were tested by noble quests. Jock the cockerel strutted about, crowing like a herald. "Hear ye, hear ye!" Billy shouted, banana raised high. Jock crowed louder, convinced he was in charge. Dad set up flowerpots as castle towers, while Mum brought out a blanket, pretending it was the royal court. Gran sat knitting, muttering that knights should wear woolly armor, while Grandad tinkered with a jam jar contraption he claimed was a dragon detector. Billy's first quest was to slay the fearsome dragon, which turned out to be Sulky sulking under the rosebush. Billy charged, banana sword wobbling. Sulky hissed, swiped, and retreated, leaving Billy triumphant. "Victory," he cried. Adults chuckled at the absurdity, knight versus cat, sword versus fruit. Next came the tournament. Billy challenged Dad, who armed himself with a wooden spoon. "A duel of kitchenware," Dad declared. They clashed, banana against spoon, until the banana snapped in half. Billy gasped, horrified. "My sword!" Dad grinned. "Looks like you split your chances." Mum groaned at the pun, Gran laughed, and Grandad muttered something about going bananas. Billy, undeterred, declared the broken banana was now dual blades. He waved both halves dramatically, slipping slightly on the grass. Jock crowed approval, convinced Billy was the bravest knight he'd ever seen. The garden echoed with laughter, double entendres flying faster than Billy's banana blades. Children saw a silly duel, adults saw satire in knights armed with fruit and spoons. Billy's knightly nonsense spilled into the village. Mum walked him to the shop, banana halves tucked into his dungarees. "Knights must gather supplies," Billy explained solemnly. Jock followed, strutting like a squire. At the shop, Billy declared loudly, "I am Sir Billy, defender of the realm." The shopkeeper raised an eyebrow. "And what realm is that?" Billy pointed to the biscuit aisle. "The land of shortbread." Adults chuckled knowingly, knights defending biscuits was a noble cause indeed. Billy attempted to pay with his banana sword, placing it on the counter. "That's not legal tender," the shopkeeper said dryly. Mum sighed, amused but embarrassed. "He's just bananas," she explained. Billy didn't mind, knights were above currency. On the way home, Billy challenged a puddle, declaring it a moat. He leapt dramatically, splashing Mum's shoes. "Knights must cross dangerous waters," he cried. Mum muttered something about laundry, while Jock crowed approval. Grandad later teased Billy about crossing swords in public, chuckling at the double meaning. Billy didn't understand, but he liked the sound of it. Gran whispered that knights always had biscuits hidden in their armor, slipping him one with a wink. The village quest ended with Billy triumphant, banana blade soggy but spirit unbroken. Adults laughed at the layered humor, children giggled at the silliness, and Billy remained convinced he was the bravest knight in Britain. Back home, Billy declared a victory feast. Mum set the table, Dad brought sandwiches, Gran produced lemon drizzle cake, and Grandad poured tea. Jock strutted about like a royal herald, while Sulky sulked under the chair. Billy placed his banana blades on the table, declaring them sacred relics. Dad joked, "Careful, they'll go soft in battle." Mum rolled her eyes, Gran chuckled, and Grandad muttered something about fruit salad armor. The feast became a celebration of Billy's knightly nonsense. He told tales of slaying dragons, cats, crossing moats, puddles, and defending kingdoms, biscuit isles. Adults laughed at the double meanings, children giggled at the silliness, and everyone felt the warmth of shared imagination. Billy raised his cup of juice. "To knights everywhere," he declared. Jock crowed approval, Sulky flicked his tail, and the family cheered. The banana sword may have been silly, but it had united the family in laughter, wit, and warmth. Billy beamed, cheeks rosy, socks mismatched, heart full of knightly nonsense. And the moral of the story is, the greatest battles are won with laughter, not swords.